One of the missions that we had when we started at OxyHealth was the hyperbaric industry had a black cloud over its head, and that was danger. It was a scary thing. You heard about chambers blowing up and this and injuries and whatnot. And it's very difficult to sell or convince somebody to try something when they've got fear around it. So that was part of our design requirement. Not just for my peace of mind, but to give the consumer the peace of mind saying, I'm not going to worry about this.
Where this all began with chambers was the very first one was made from a very thin, lightweight material that rolled up into a very small area, and mountain climbers would carry it on their backpack and go up on treks to like Mount Everest and stuff. And when they became hypoxic, they would zip into these little bags and with a foot pump inflate them and used hyperbaric oxygen to survive on the top of the mountains. Now what we did is we took that idea and made a medical model out of it.
We put a lot of work into the materials. We went to thicker materials. The zipper system was completely revamped. One of the most scary things about hyperbarics is burst. You've got 4 pounds per square inch and you've got about 5,500 pounds of pressure on that zipper. So the first scary thing for me when I looked at it is I said, we're putting a life in that one zipper. It'd be nice to get a second one. So we put 2 zippers just to share the load, and if one fails, we're good. We got a second one. At OxyHealth, we take safety very seriously. I want every single person involved in this chain of constructing chambers, building chambers, selling chambers, delivering chambers. Everyone must be safety conscious because we're putting a life in this chamber.
When my son started talking about purchasing this chamber and the benefits he was going to give to my grandchild by this chamber, I wasn't sure about the whole thing. But after looking at the chamber, seeing how it was built, seeing how well it worked, and I really believe the OxyHealth chamber was the right choice.
We chose that one because, well, safety was paramount. And so really I didn't want to take it and put my family into something that really would blow up on them. And so I just wanted to make sure that what I got was the safest, the best designed, the best built. And you know, the difference in what they have done to their chambers, just getting them, putting them together, the quality, it just shows how well that they have done and put their stuff together. It's very methodical, well thought out. They do an excellent job.
When selecting materials, we're not just looking for strength. We're also looking for the type of material it is. Everything here has to be food grade. So if you look at a simple piece of tubing, you could go to your local hardware store and buy tubing for 10 cents a foot. We pay something like $8 a foot for our tubing because it's got to be food grade. It's breathable air. The materials here must be non-toxic. You're in a hyperbaric environment, so if there's any outgassing or toxins in the material, that is augmented with the pressure. So it is very important. And we've heard these stories where children's toys were built with materials that had lead in them or things of that sort, and that's all a product of cost cutting.
Sometimes price does matter on things, but sometimes quality matters. And when it comes to my son's safety, of course quality matters.
When you go to the thinner materials, when you go to the cheaper zipper systems or the valve systems and try and build it that way, you're endangering somebody's life. And that is a tough pill to swallow.
Like if you went out to do a bungee jump off of a bridge and the guy says, hey, guess what? We got some cheaper bungee cord today. So, you know, would you take that jump? I mean, come on. You know, cheap is not what this is all about.
It's not just cost you've got to look at. This is medicine. This is not just another toy or a piece of furniture.
The quality of the product as well as the zipper and the other components was very important to me. I did not want to compromise my son's safety to save a few bucks. I wanted a product that was reliable and a product that I could depend on. So I went with OxyHealth. They have a perfect safety record.
It might have been a little bit more than some of the other chambers, but
it was definitely worth it.
Definitely, you're putting my grandchild in there, and it is definitely worth the additional cost to get the higher quality, to get the reliability, to get the safety that you're going to get out of this chamber.
The quality control process is much like construction of a home, where you have an inspector come in from the city and check every step and see if you did it right. We have the same process in the chamber. We have inspectors that will check the valve process. How was the valve installed, or how well was it installed? Did it meet specifications? The zippers, the seams, the window seams versus the side seams. Anything we build in this chamber is checked and double checked. And all the parts are tested to destruction as well. Every 10th zipper we install, we'll basically take that section of zipper and see if it holds up to the pulls and the weights that the specifications require. So the process of testing is intense, and it is above and beyond what the FDA or any regulatory agency requires. And we're very proud of that. That's what got us where we are.
People know who we are when we go to trade shows, but they're wondering why other companies aren't showing. And we have gotten that feedback from not just from end users, but from people that have gone from trade show to trade shows, from other exhibitors. They're wondering, you know, I've heard about other companies. How come they're not here? How come they're not representing their product? How come you guys are it?
When I did research on the hyperbaric chamber, I found that the other companies were relatively new in the business, and OxyHealth invented the product, and they've been around for over 10 years. So the quality and safety of the product was foremost in my mind.
Most of their competitors that I was looking at it was their first, maybe their second run through of that design. And so there's still a lot of bugs to work out at that, even if you have tested it a while, which, talking with some of them, I wasn't even sure they were doing.
There are safety precautions that we take when we build our chambers that the other brands don't really take into consideration. They build a chamber just to deliver the therapy, but they don't think about what could go wrong. What happens when you put this chamber in a certain environment? What happens if there's a burst in a certain way? How will the patient react to it?
When I look at our competition, that people that work in their garages and you know, have a home office and that type of thing, come on, they have no product liability, they have no insurance, they have no sensibility. I mean, OxyHealth is a company.
We're not just here to make a quick buck. We're here trying to help people out, and we're building an industry, and we're building something that is going to turn around people's lives.
We've got an army of people that are every day waking up and thinking, safety, 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 safety. We've got to make sure that we put our heart and soul in the construction and delivery and the manufacture, or whatever it may be, because the patients and the doctors have enough to worry about.
OxyHealth has a program where every new employee goes and they physically work at a clinic that has our chambers in it. And I tell you, that gives you such a unique perspective.
I want them to see a patient walk in and then treat for 2 weeks and see the success story, so they are motivated, thinking, geez, I did something. It's the best feeling, it's priceless.
You work with children, you work with elderly people. They're not just customers, they're not just people on the phone anymore.
When you have that experience, I mean, you just got to reach out and say, man, you know, I've seen what you've gone through and I feel your pain.
It's an awesome thing to help somebody.
When sick people go into our chamber, you've got to be responsible for their well-being, and there's absolutely no compromising quality allowed at OxyHealth, none whatsoever.
It's paid off because we've got an impeccable safety record, the best in the industry. The hyperbaric industry is 100 years old, and we've been in this industry for 10 years only, and we've outsold them. We've made more units than the entire hyperbaric industry combined, and we've had zero failures. Perfect is all we'll stand for, nothing less.